Michael Rollhaus lost weight using a really strict diet, but then learned how to maintain his weight loss with intermittent fasting. Michael, thank you for being a part of this interview. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm 61 years old. I live in Queens, in New York, Flushing, Queens. Um, I operate a small business making furniture for restaurants and married with three daughters. Um, one daughter is married with twin grandchildren, and that's about it.
Excellent. So, why don't you give everyone a little rundown of how you've had weight loss success and how intermittent fasting has kind of played a part in all that?
Well, as the years go along, like I'm 61 years old, if you just gain only 2 pounds a year after 30 years, that's 60 pounds. So, the pounds come on much easier than they go off. So you really do have to watch yourself. What happened to me was that, you gain here, you gain there. So you do have to lose weight. So I would have success going on um, this diet or that diet. Um, I finally, last December, went on a major diet. After the more I ate, the less satisfied I was. And, it was very expensive. It was very successful. I lost 35 pounds in like about 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, the pounds just came right off. But I mean, I was eating like, it was only like 700 calories a day.
Oh, wow.
It was very restrictive. Like, for example, I'm allowed to have, with my meal, I would have 3.5 ounces of protein. I could have a vegetable. There are only certain vegetables, not all vegetables. Like you can't have potatoes, but it was a little bit strange. Let's say if your vegetable you're picking is asparagus, you could have asparagus, but you can't have asparagus and lettuce. You could either take lettuce or asparagus. Whatever the deal is, it worked, and so I was very satisfied. I lost 35 pounds in 8 weeks, and the strange part about this, it wasn't that difficult. I wasn't feeling hungry. You would think, oh my gosh, I go from who knows what I was eating before, 2,000, 3,000 calories a day, and now you're doing 700 calories a day. You would think that's really, really very, very difficult, but it wasn't. I wasn't hungry. And, I read up about this. I started going on YouTube, and, possibly it could be the keto diet. That was part of what I was doing. Another
Mm.
part was intermittent fasting, because you can only have 2 meals a day.
Mm.
Um, and, a snack might be just an apple or something like that. You'll have two snacks, but it's a total of 700 calories. And when you wake up in the morning, you have to drink a lot of water. You have to take certain vitamins that they give you that they say are special, designated just for you. But it doesn't. The first meal you're eating at about 11 o'clock in the morning, and at night, you don't eat after, let's say, 7, 8 o'clock. So you only have 2 meals a day, and in a way, that's a form of intermittent fasting. They don't really go ahead and tell you this. What would have been a lot easier would have been, just go to Kayla Cox and find out what she's doing and what everyone else is doing out there, and just follow what they do, and you'll be fine. It costs a lot of money, but the bottom line is it did work. It was successful, and um, I'm much better off for it.
Hmm. So now you're maintaining. Is that pretty much
Yeah,
right?
I'm maintaining. I've since then I've actually lost a couple more pounds on my own. Um, at the time, I wasn't allowed to exercise on that whole program because maybe I just didn't have. If I would have done exercise in that program, I would have been in a way deficit. That would have been maybe even dangerous.
Right.
So now I'm maintaining. I'm back to exercising. I'm eating well. One of the beautiful things about intermittent fasting is like whether I'm doing 15 hours a day or 18 hours a day, um, when you start eating again after your fast, whether I'm eating at 12 o'clock, my first meal, or 2 o'clock, whatever I'm eating feels wow, these strawberries are really, really good. Or, I'm eating whatever, this pear or whatever I'm eating. It's delicious. Like, you're not eating nonstop all day long. I feel so much better for just eating here and there. And then at night, you don't have to go to sleep on a full stomach. You stop eating, whether I know you're doing one meal a day and one a big meal. But I'm finishing like, 7 o'clock at night. And my next meal the next day is maybe 11, 12 o'clock. It depends what I do. Today, I only started eating at like 3 o'clock. Um, because I probably overdid it. I probably ate too much yesterday. So I feel much better eating less food, not all the time. And also, what you say all the time is that you have your cheat day on Sunday, so you don't beat
Mm-hmm.
yourself up. You know, even when I have my cheat day, I do try to watch what I'm eating. I'm not going to eat like 2 pounds of cake. If I have to have cake, I'll have some cake. But the idea is not to go hog wild on it. And I think what your mantra is, that whatever works for you is that's good. If it's working for you, don't knock it. Just keep on trying to do it. And like, for example, I don't eat just anything when I'm eating. I try to eat healthy. I've really cut out sugar from my diet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have ketchup, so you put ketchup on it, but if you really read the ingredients in ketchup, you have sugar, you have this salt and sodium and this chemical and that chemical, and it just adds up. It's only like, oh, so it's only 10, 15, 20 calories, but it keeps on adding up. It's the sugar in this, the sugar of that. So when I am eating now, I try to eat really, really healthy. And even on my cheat day, I try to watch myself. It's not an all-out, food fest.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that you have a daily routine? It sounds like your fasting is different most days, but do you have things that you do every single day?
Yeah, well, the first thing is, when I wake up in the morning, I do have, I do drink water with my vitamins, but I also put in there some green powder, and I'll have a tea when I go to work. I do use stevia. I know you're not a big fan of stevia. Some people are really very much against it, but it's what you keep on saying, that you have to do whatever is good for you. If it's working for you, just do it. If you really like stevia and that's your only hang up, it's something sweet, do it. Like, some people, if you're having coffee, so okay, have coffee, but it has to be black. Um, that works for certain people, but it's difficult. Some people say you should put a tremendous amount of fat into the coffee, and that's going to make you not hungry, and that's going to carry you over for the whole day. So sometimes, the rare occasion when I do have coffee, I will have regular milk with it, and I'll probably put some stevia in it, and it does squelch my eating, my hunger. And, so I can go easily till 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon before I eat my first meal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you didn't actually struggle with your weight your whole life, right? You just kind of into adulthood just kind of slowly gained.
Well, operating a small business, and, the stresses of life, at times, yeah, you keep on putting on weight. And by the time you finish, oh my gosh, I'm 225, I'm 230, 230 pounds. It's way, way too much. It just creeps up on you. So I am very athletic. um, I do certain events, and I always like playing baseball. But it creeps up on you. Just 2 pounds a year, that will do it. And after a bunch of years, when let's say I should be at maybe 180, you end up being 235, or something like that. It's really not acceptable. You don't feel as peppy as you should. You feel tired, you feel lethargic. So yeah, for many years, it was a problem. I did lose weight, and then you end up with the personal problems. My mother passed away. I mean, she was 90 years old, but she had dementia for the last 10 years. But really, what was very difficult was when my sister passed away, and that really, I was very, very close to my sister, and she was only 61 years old. And you let yourself go a little bit here and there, and you say, oh well, let me have another piece of cake or whatever, and this and that, and by the time you're finished, you're overweight. It's not good. It's not a good thing, and you really have to. There's accountability, and um, so yeah, a lot of times my from I don't know, from 40 to 60, my weight would go up at times, and sometimes my weight would fluctuate, it would go up, it would go down. I'd be very, very careful. But now I'm trying to be very, very careful, and I'm just about the same weight I was when I got married.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. That's awesome.
It is. It feels good.
So, do you think anything changed for you this go around? Like, do you feel like a mindset shift or anything was different this time?
Yeah, you just have, it's the mindset. You just have to put your mind to it. I did it. I lost the weight. I didn't really set up a goal. Some people are very goal oriented. Yeah, I got to get down to 150. Whatever. And no, I really didn't have a goal. I just wanted to lose weight, and I didn't really put a number on it. But so I lost weight, and now maybe I want to lose another 5 or 10 pounds. I want to keep on going. You just feel better. I appreciate food now when I eat. Sometimes I'm even forcing myself to eat. I mean, that sounds a little funny. Like when I um, break my fast, let's say at 12 o'clock, so, I'll have some strawberries. I might have an apple. I might have some tuna fish or whatever it is. Um, I'm really satisfied at that point. And then I say, well, you know what? Let me finish the rest of my lunch too. But a lot of times, if I didn't finish the rest of my lunch, I would feel satiated, which is
Mm.
something that didn't happen before. So right now I feel so much better. As I said, I'm not 150 years old, but 60 years old, and I do compete in stair climbing, which is a passion of mine. I'm actually ranked in my USA stair rankings. I'm actually ranked 47th in the country,
Oh, wow.
in from 60 to 70-year olds. Yeah, and so when I climb skyscrapers, I'm not outside the stairs, inside the building. I want to
Mhm.
clarify that. A lot of people say, well, you climb buildings. No, 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 inside the stairs, not outside. So what I do is, most of these people competing are, 25, 35 years old. And, so I'm double their age. And, I don't finish first, but, I finish like, in like average or a little bit below average. But yeah, but I'm twice their age, and yeah, I can do it. And I love these crazy sports, climbing skyscrapers around the country.
And when did you start doing that?
Yes, I started doing that about 7, 8 years ago.
Wow.
And what happened was there was a softball game in my neighborhood, and I didn't block home plate properly. So the center fielder was yelling at me and said, "Why didn't you block the plate?" And I said, "Yeah, whatever." And so I gave up playing softball. And but what am I going to do Sunday morning? So I went to the gym, and if you go to the gym, the treadmills are usually busy, and I don't like running. Everyone has their activities they like, and that's also very important. Whatever floats your boat, that's what you should do. So I have a bad left knee. That was an injury from softball. So I don't really like running, but there was the stair master. So I got on it, and I don't know, I did 20, 30 flights, whatever. It was difficult. And then I built myself up, and then I was able to do 100 flights. And I saw an advertisement in New York that there was going to be um, a stair climb in Rockefeller Center called Top of the Rock. So I signed up for it. And so that was the first time. I've done about, I don't know, 30, 40 events in the last 7, 8 years all over the country. And I've even done a building in Israel, which consists of three individual buildings totaling 150 flights. Um, yeah, but usually in that event, you have a choice. You can either do all three buildings or do just one building. So I always pick the three buildings when I go to Israel. Most people, there are only 35 people that do all three buildings. And typically, I end up like last out of
Oh, wow.
out of the 30, 35 people. But yeah, but I finish it, and it's not like I'm taking 3 hours to do it. I finish it in typically like 52 minutes doing 150 flights. And, you know, I love it.
That's awesome. So do you still face any challenges with your eating or with your weight loss or just maintenance? Do you find that to be a grind or how is it going for you?
I'm not, I don't really find it to be that much of a grind. I enjoy the challenges. Like sometimes I watch people eating at a party and stuff like that, and they're not really enjoying their food. Like I saw this one fellow, like he should be doing intermittent fasting. You know, you don't go over to a person and say, "Oh, you need to lose 50 pounds there." You know, I saw the way he ate like an onion ring, you know, and he just stuffed it in his mouth and he finished it in like 3 seconds. You know, he didn't even enjoy it. So you get to see that, you know, so it's like inspirational watching this guy, what not to do. You know, it's of course sometimes like you see something that, you know, maybe you want to eat and then you don't eat it, you know, but you feel better in the long run not eating that. You know, do you really need that extra piece of cake? You know, you had one piece of cake. Do you need 3 pieces? No, you don't. Yeah,
Right.
it's not really all that difficult. You know, I work in restaurants. That's what I do. I make furniture for restaurants, so I see food all day long.
Mm.
I see people eating in restaurants. You know, eating all types of food, and some of the restaurants are the best restaurants in New York, and they're famous restaurants. But you know, it doesn't really bother me watching it. Sometimes it does. You know, I do get frustrated. Oh, wow, that pizza really looks good. You know, so I go to my neighborhood, and you know, on the rare occasion, I would eat a slice of pizza. And I said, yeah, this pizza probably wasn't as good as the pizza they had in that restaurant.
Right. So what's one piece of advice you would give to someone else on their weight loss journey right now? Just something that you've learned along the way.
I would say, you know, just don't give up. You know, your advice is so good. Like you should weigh yourself every day. Don't get depressed if you put on 3 pounds or even 5 pounds. You know, you could just the way you lost the weight before, you could lose it again. Um, you know, it's the total. You know, everything. You know, it's not just one day. If you know you're a little bit heavier, you didn't put on the weight in just 1 week. You know, you put it on in the last 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. You know, so it takes a while to lose the weight. One of the things that you um, have is that you're walking a lot. So that's also something that I adopted. Um, you know, I measure how many steps I'm taking all day with that Pacer app. So I see, oh, you know, even when I'm not exercising in the gym like a lunatic climbing up stairs or on the stairmaster or anything like that, you know, just going for a walk, and that you can see that, you know, I was really, you know, I just drove a lot today. I was in my office. I didn't walk at all today, you know, and you see, oh wow, I only did like 2,000 steps today. You know, that's not
Mm-hmm.
enough. You know, it's really good that you did your, you know, your 6,000 steps or um, you know, that you do exercise. You know, no matter, you don't have to do like climb skyscrapers, but if you just active, you know, that makes a
Mm-hmm.
big difference for your clarity and your mind and well-being. So I think that I find that to be very, very helpful. One thing that I find so helpful is now just listening to Kayla Cox and the real people from interviews, you know, because these are real
Mm-hmm.
people that have struggles. Some of the
Right.
struggles are very similar to me, and some of them are different. And you know, but I learned from that. It became, you know, it's encouraging. It's inspirational to hear what people have the same situations as I do, and you know, they have the same problems I do, and then how they cope with it. You know, and I think it's a very nice thing what you've set up, and you know, it's like a whole big network of people with fighting weight gain. You know, the
Right.
American diet is so difficult. You know, because there's sugar in everything,
Mm-hmm.
and they said that sugar is very, very dangerous. There's chemicals in so much of the food. Even if you're eating whatever you're eating, chicken or meat, you know, they say the hormones that they feed the animals. It's very, very difficult, you know. But you have to start someplace. So you know, whatever you can do, that's what you do, you know. And that's what I've learned from Kayla Cox.
Well, thank you, Michael, and thank you for being a part of this. If people would like to connect with you, what's the best way they can do that?
Well, I think, you know, if they can respond on the videos or on Facebook or something like that, I'm only too happy to respond if they have any questions. I'm only too happy to share whatever wisdom I have, if you want to call it wisdom or not. I'm only too happy to help anyone out. That's I've learned from so many people. I've asked questions, and a lot of times you do answer the question personally. But a lot of times other people answer questions that I have a question about. I find it very, very helpful, so I can return the favor as well.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. Thank you.